What's up, everybody? Damon here with my good friend Sam. You probably heard this week the Disney Classic Games Aladdin and the Lion King collection was announced for current consoles. This is sort of revitalizing classic 16-bit Disney games that are on the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Except for this one, it's not in that
Well,
collection.
yeah, so the Aladdin games were developed by two different developers, Capcom being one of them for the Super Nintendo version, but the Lion King just had one developer. So on this collection, both Lion King versions are the same, and they're going to be included. Oh no, that was very fitting because
A genie is in the room.
the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin is not in this collection.
Yeah, so this was made by Shinji Mikami, the creator of Resident Evil.
Yes.
He also made Goof Troop, a classic horror game. But this game was made by Capcom in Japan, and it was not included in this collection because I think most of the games in this collection were made by Virgin Interactive and a few other companies that might have done the Game Boy ports, which are also in the collection. But Aladdin, we're only getting the Genesis version. But these games are so different. This one's made by the Earthworm Jim folks.
Yes, David Perry, and then published by Virgin Interactive. And this has sort of re-sparked a debate about which version of this game is better, and a lot of people seem to think the Genesis version is the better one, but I think that's because more people played this version. This was the third best-selling Sega Genesis game.
So
tied with Sonic
that's
and
kind of sad for Sonic. So it's
tied with Sonic
we
and
have Sonic 1,
Yeah.
Sonic 2.
Probably, and then Sonic and Knuckles.
What
and
happened
Aladdin.
to Sonic 3?
So Disney's Aladdin on the Super Nintendo is very well regarded, but did not sell not even half as many copies as the Sega Genesis version did. So not as many people have experienced this game, but a lot of people believe this is the better version. Why is that?
So what you're saying is 90s kids won't remember one of these. And I hear that all the time because I, myself, used to be a pro Genesis Aladdin fan. I've switched. I think I'm coming around to the Super Nintendo version. So
Takes a big man to admit that.
I know. Well, it's a special Arabian Night. That's a song in Aladdin. This game for Genesis, I'm going to do a virtual checklist above it. It has better graphics, and it has better animation, and it has a sword.
Yeah.
We're going to
Not
come
in the
back
movie.
to that. Push a pin in it.
They added a sword.
Yeah, put a pin in there. We're going to come back to that sword.
Put a sword in it.
Yeah, so that all looks good. It's also really hard, which is a good thing, and it has some cool kind of platformy stuff, but it's mainly about combat and getting through levels. Let's do the virtual checklist above this one. Super Nintendo. It has really good platforming, a lot cheesier graphics. They just look like a Super Nintendo game. This was, I think, Genesis Aladdin actually had hand-drawn animation used for the cells to create it. This does not. It's just sprites. But it does have an animated tiny Abu monkey, which is really cute, that follows you all the time and cheers you on and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But it's the gameplay. So the gameplay for a Super Nintendo has Aladdin springing around and off of things, which leads to a lot of puzzles for collection, which is really cool. I likened it earlier today to Bionic Commando, because you're not jumping a lot, you're doing a lot of swinging and springing. It's really cool. But coming back to that sword, you know what your weapon of choice is in this game?
No.
It's apples.
Apples.
Yeah, so sword, apples, you can compare those things too.
Yeah.
This has another cool thing with platforming. It has a Mario-style cape you can pick up.
Wow.
And it means you can float to the ground when you're doing really complex platforming. And you can lose that cape when you die, which I think is really fun, because then you have to challenge yourself to find another one and complete the level in a different way. So I don't know, there's some big differences for these games.
Well, we're all going to get to revisit the Sega Genesis version this fall when the Disney Classic Games Aladdin and Lion King arrives on October 29th, just in time for Halloween for the spooky game.
Spooky. If you want to play this one, you can come by the office and play with us.
Yeah, but if you haven't checked out the Super Nintendo version, you also owe it to yourself to check out that version and find out why it's so well regarded. And maybe this version could be resurfaced at some point too. It's a Capcom-developed game of a Disney license, so I don't know what that means. I know Capcom is very interested in creating its own classic collections of its own catalog.
We did get the
these
Disney
days.
Afternoon collection from the same crew
Yeah, we did.
that's making this Aladdin collection, so that's cool that they're working with Disney stuff, and some of those are Capcom games. I would call this the Ducktails of Aladdin games.
The Ducktails of Aladdin games. There you have it, folks. For more on all things video games, both classic and modern, stay tuned, IGN.